What's up, Alex? How are you today?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me out.
No problem, man. We just wanted to interview you. We've gotten to know you over the last couple of years, just in this weird dunking community that is the internet, online, Instagram, all that stuff. So we wanted to pick your brain about your training, what your journey's been like. You've had a lot of success, a lot of progress we've been seeing, and just wanted to hear your story. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions if that's cool with you.
Yeah, of course.
So first things first, we just want to get an idea, just people listening, like what your current measurements are, height, weight, wingspan, standing reach, and then like what the highest you've ever touched in the air would be.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm 6'1". My standing reach is 7'9". My wingspan is 6'2". So not anything special for my height.
Okay.
My highest touch is 11.2 and a half.
Okay.
And that put me at a 42.5. At dunk camp, I tested a 41.5. But about 6 months later, I got my own Vertec, got 11.2 and a half. So that's my record so far.
Oh, you own a Vertec?
Yeah, I bought one. It's not quite as nice as the one at dunk camp, but it gets the job done. Like I think the one at dunk camp, it measures every half inch or so, and this one is only every inch, which is kind of a bummer. But
How much was that?
I think it was about $300 on Amazon.
Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. Do you try to dunk in pickup games, basketball, or are you kind of done playing pickup and you're solely focused on just
Sure.
jump sessions and then like basically track and field athlete at this point?
Yeah, so for me, I would say I really picked up more so on dunking during COVID. And so I was dunking a lot by myself because no one was really, playing basketball or anything. So I just go to random courts and like just practice on my vertical. With that being said, because of COVID, like I feel like pickup games are just now starting to pick up a lot more. So I'm trying to play once a month about and like the dunking game. Haven't yet, only dunked on in a 2v2 game, but it was still nice.
Yep.
Not a 5-on-5 yet.
Okay. Is that a goal of yours?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't get around to playing a lot, like the opportunity, like enough guys playing on the court, like when I happen to show up at a gym. But yeah, definitely
And
a goal.
and why do you give a shit about dunking? Why do you care?
Um, yeah, maybe I should take a step back and like just give a little bit about me, and so like that way it'll help me explain this answer, I
Sure,
think.
sure.
So at 6'1", like it's like kind of tall, but not really. Like most guys, I don't know. Well, 1% of the world can dunk, they say. Like I believe I've heard that statistic
Of
before.
men?
But yeah,
Is
on
it, you mean
10.
1% of basketball players or 1% of people?
I
Does it
think 1% of the total population.
that includes women?
Yeah, I
Because it'd be way less than 1% if you include all women.
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know where I heard that, but I heard that somewhere that only
Right. Okay. It's
1% of
rare.
the
It's rare.
it's rare. So, and 6'1" isn't tall. So it's like um you know and I wouldn't say I was a natural athlete by any means. Both my parents didn't play any sports and they're both very short. So my dad's 5'9" and my mom's not short for a girl. She's 5'7", 5'8". So anyways, but I like in college I could get a tip in dunk, but not really. And I couldn't go off the dribble. So um, I would say like that's all I was able to do. And around my late 20s, I was like, you know what? I want to just give it my all at dunking and see if I can actually get a real dunk. And so that like led me to sign up for dunk camp in 2019, and just being around, Jordan Kilgannon, all those dunkers, like, and that atmosphere is like really contagious. And
Yeah.
um, like I got a tip, I got a alley oop dunk there. Wasn't super clean, but it was like one of my first real dunks. and I've just kept going. My verticals kept going up and up, and now I can do windmills with both hands. I'm working on between the legs, out the hand, and so that should be coming soon. But to go back, what was your original question again? Sorry.
Like, why do you care about dunking? Because like, a lot of people may have they played basketball, or maybe they were in track and they, wanted to do it for fun, for fame, for a career, whatever. But you're kind of in this mold where you're not a coach yet. I don't know if you want to be that. I'm curious if you want to be that. You're not a pro dunker. You're like an extreme enthusiast who also, benefits a lot in your social life from doing, dunking. So we're just kind of curious why you care about it as much as you do. And that's pretty much the question. Yeah.
So I think it stemmed from watching dunk contests, NBA dunk contests when I was younger, seeing Michael Jordan dunk, seeing Drake dap up Jordan Kilgannon when he dunked at a halftime show, just watching those guys fly through the air. Like, I don't know, it just looks so cool. And then when I started doing it, what I noticed is like all my worries or, in the world kind of like disappeared, and I was really like in the moment. And I just love that, the thrill of like flying through the air and just being, as athletic as possible. It's fun. It's awesome. It's like, I don't know, like I would imagine it'd be like going down a hill on like a skateboard or something, like just with the wind flying and you got the adrenaline going. It's awesome. That's what I love about it.
Have you always jumped off 2 feet, or is that something that you started doing because of your learning about training and maybe understanding that it's better for your build? Or
I would say naturally I could touch the rim, and like there are some dunkers like Steven Selly, shout out to Steven. He couldn't even touch the rim when he first started, but like I could jump up and touch the rim, I think, pretty naturally at around, I don't know, 16, 17, 18. And I noticed that I would jump higher off 2. And so just kind of went off that. I can dunk off 1 now. I do like it, but I definitely get higher off 2. I think I hit 9. I recently went to Vegas and got my jump technique certification with Project Peer Athlete.
Nice.
And so, worked with Chase, and I tested 9, I think it was 9-10 off 1 leg. I'd have to look again, somewhere around there. And then off 2 is 11 feet. So a little bit higher, definitely off 2.
You say 9-10? 9-10 was off of 1 foot. So you had over a foot difference of
oh, sorry, 10-10. 10-10 and 11 feet. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no. I couldn't dunk with 9-8, obviously. No, I 10-10. Thank you for fixing that.
Is that off both your right and your left, or do you favor one or the other?
I favored jumping off my left leg, and I favor jumping left-right when I jump off 2.
And then you usually dunk with your right hand?
I usually dunk with my right hand, and I feel like with left-righters, there's not a lot of people jumping left-right and dunking right hand. It seems like the more
we do that. Cole does that too.
Yeah, really? Yeah, but I feel like Cole's ambidextrous. Like I've seen him. He dunks with both hands all the times. And
he does his left. He does his trail hand too, his left.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love his reverse windmill. That is one of the coolest dunks I've ever seen.
They say that for men, you peak with your sexual attractiveness around age 30. Would you say that the same is true for dunking?
Well, I'm jumping my highest at 30. So I feel like, there's good hope for you guys there. In terms of attractiveness, I'm gonna quote my good friend Jack Harlow here. I didn't peak in high school. I'm still out here getting cuter,
Perfect, bro. That's funny. So do you think that say by 35, you'll be even higher than you're at now if you continue on this path?
That's tough. So Chase from PPA, he's like a big inspiration to me because I feel like he had to earn his vertical, same as me, like in the gym, repping it out, like fixing your technique, like, you know, not it's not easy to get the inches, like grinding it out to get those inches. So he's definitely a guy who's done that. And then he's a guy who peaked around 33, 34. And so
How old is he now?
I think he's like 38 now. He's in his late 30s, and he can still he just windmilled out the hand the other day. He's dealing with injuries right now, but I mean, he's still jumping well. And we had a little 9-foot contest. You can see that on my Instagram at Alex Ardizzone, if you guys want to check that out. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that personally. I thought that was really cool that you got to do that, because and you've done a lot of it's opened a lot of doors for you in terms of meeting very cool people. Are there any names that come to mind that you were like, man, this is awesome, I got to meet them, or that you were maybe even starstruck by?
Yeah, Jordan Kilgannon, one guy who, you know, I've seen his clips so many times on YouTube, Instagram. And so meeting him in real life, and like he loves dunking so much. I feel like he can pick up that someone really likes dunking like pretty quick. And so he followed me on Instagram right away. And like we message each other back and forth all the time. And like that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then of course, a lot of the other dunkers that were at dunk camp last year, CJ, Jordan Sutherland, just saw him last night take home a W at the Creator Classic Dunk Contest. Tyler Curry, and it's just cool that, you know, we have a back and forth relationship. Like I'm texting a lot of these people now, and that's just
very cool.
You know, I grew up watching them on.
Is there any one of those guys that, or is there anyone else outside of that list that's kind of like your role model in terms of who you most relate to as a dunker? And you know, like for us, we always look for guys around our size, white guys around the same weight, and we kind of, you know, look at them to see what's possible and whatnot, and try to glean information from them. Is there anyone like that for you, or you kind of just focus on your own self wholeheartedly?
No, there are some, like if the guy jumps left, right, and he's right-handed, then I'm paying attention. Like if he's a good dunker, like I'm paying attention for sure. And Jordan Kilgannon, he's ambidextrous, but he's also 6'1". So I think he's got like one of the best techniques in the game. So I try to look at his. Isaiah Rivera, same thing. Anthony Height, I think he touched like 11.8 at Venice Beach. And he's only like 5'6", but he is very much the same as like his jump style is very similar to mine. He's obviously very elastic. I don't think I'm as elastic as him. I think I'm a little more muscle dependent than he is, but like he gives me the best tips. I learned a windmill from him just because we jump so similar. He's like, you need to do this and you're going to hit it, and boom. Like, so
that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy, Anthony.
You say you're strength based. What can you give us an idea of what your strength numbers are looking like?
Yeah. So let's see. So on, I don't squat like back squat a lot with the barbell too often, but recently I just got back into it, and I hit 315 for sets of 2 or 3 for like 5 sets the other day, which I was pretty happy with, because I think the last time I put 315 on a bar, it was like my max. Like I hit it twice for good measure, but it was essentially my max. So to hit it like several sets, like 2 or 3, I was pretty happy with that. But then on, I think my strongest lift that I've worked on the most is the hex bar deadlift. And I've gotten close to 400 pounds on that with a band for extra tension, like on the bar, and I'm like stepping on the band. So and the only reason why I didn't go up in weight was because I couldn't, like with my hex bar, I could only put on like so many, plates. So hence the band, but it was around 400.
Okay, nice.
I could do that for several reps. Yeah.
Would you say that there's a direct correlation between like whenever you're pulling around 400 on your hex bar, then shortly thereafter you'll be jumping your highest, or is it a little bit more complicated than that?
I think it's a little bit more complicated in that, but I hear so many stories of dunkers like hitting a new PR, and then the following dunk session they jump their very highest. So I've noticed that there's definitely a correlation, but like there's so many factors that go into it. Like just because your raw strength number improved doesn't necessarily mean like your speed like improved enough to translate that gain. So I think there is some complication to it, but yeah.
If you were to speak to a group of aspiring dunkers who can maybe get close to touching rim or are just kind of getting their fingertips to graze the rim, what would you say are kind of key things to do as a beginner to get you ready for dunking and getting there as quickly as you can, I should say?
So I think and you'll hear dunkers say this too, I think jumping a lot is like a big factor. It's a skill, so like it's a skill in itself. So like jumping a lot like will help clean up your technique. The fastest gains you can make, I think, are cleaning up your technique. And then beyond that, I would say,
how much is a lot though? Like how many jumps per week would you say? If you're talking about full effort, start at the 3-point line, run like 3 steps, and then jump as high as you can. How many of those would you need to hit per week to be considered like enough?
Gosh.
Or even what do you think is an ideal amount?
So I think you only want to jump maximally after, if you're like older than, let's say, 20, you probably only want to jump maximally like twice a week, probably no more than that. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can't get like plyo reps and on different days. So I'm jumping in some capacity just about every other day, whether it's like low intensity, just little, like, I don't know, jump rope or something like that, or if it's like high intensity, like I got my Vertec out and I'm going for 11 feet, whatever. So
are sprints a part of your training at all, or is that not relevant to you?
yeah. Yes, sprints are a part of my training. In fact, I just got lasers to like time myself, similar to like the NFL, and Chris Spell, yeah, the backflip king, 50-inch vertical, 1 foot and 2 foot. He told me, get the lasers and be super accurate with your 40 times. So like that's something like I've recently adopted, and I strongly believe that if you get your absolute strength numbers up and you get your, I don't know, 40 time up or maybe 20-yard time up, like your speed and absolute strength in combination, you're gonna jump higher for sure.
Okay, and then what about flexibility? And what I'm getting at is we're building out each quality, and then I want to talk about in a given week, what would a good week of training look like for a typical vert trainee? Could be what you're doing, could be theoretical, but we're putting the building blocks together. So we talked about jump volume, we talked about sprinting there, strength is a component. What about flexibility?
So I think flexibility is a component. I think you gotta be careful, because if you get like hypermobile, it's, there's so many studies showing that like too much flexibility work can lead to injury. So you got to be careful, but I think for the average person who probably sits a lot every day and kind of stays immobile, they could really benefit from some stretching. And I personally like yoga and functional flexibility like before jumping. And I feel that yoga with the breathing, lots of oxygen in the blood, getting strong in end range positions, like I think that really benefits my body, especially with recovery, but also for explosiveness.
Okay, and then the last pillar for more detail is strength. So obviously you already kind of went over your strength numbers, which exercises you use. How important is like a big variety of exercises, and how much should you focus on slower strength training versus more elastic plyo speed based exercises?
So there are people out there who do like phases, where they might do like a plyo phase where they're running a lot and they're being very bouncy. And then usually they go strength, which is, obviously like lifting heavy, low reps. And then they'll go to power, which is you're still lifting heavy, but like maybe 60% of your max to focus on like moving the weight fast and then doing speed at the end. I personally like to incorporate a little bit of all of that like together, but with the caveat of I try to have something be like a focus. So like maybe for 2 months I might have like my squat be like improving, that be my focus, or for 2 months maybe it's improving my 40 times. So like I'll try to like focus on improving something, take extra diligent notes on what my numbers are, and like I'm constantly trying to beat those and improve on those. And I would say I switch up, plateaus are real, so I try to switch up like the type of exercise every month or two, like that's hitting that quality. If that makes sense.
So it's Sunday today. What is this week going to look like for you? Just to get a snapshot of Alex's training journey. Like, what current phase you in, and what exactly does this week look like for you coming up?
So for me, I'm lifting heavy right now. But that said, I said I incorporate a lot of the other phases all at once, but I am focusing just a little bit more on absolute strength. On Monday, I'll hit it hard with some absolute strength work, probably some light plyos as well. On Wednesday, I'll hit upper body, and usually I do back and chest same day. I typically don't focus on upper body anymore just because I'm not trying to get too top heavy. But that said, I will strive to like beat previous records. And like, for instance, right now I'm doing muscle ups. So like I'm trying to
nice.
do like, 3 sets of 12 muscle ups is my goal right now. And nice guns, by the way. And they're looking good on Instagram too.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you got through Wednesday. What then? I'm guessing you go on Friday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Tuesday, yeah, I'm doing upper body. Wednesday, I'll take a rest day, but I'll do an active rest day. So I'll do like yoga maybe twice in that day. That would be like a more yoga day, knee health day, where I'm doing isometrics as well as like some yoga for 15 to 20 minutes twice in that day. And then Thursday I'll do legs again, probably a little more plyometric heavy, and then upper body on Friday. And then I try to have a dunk session on one of the days in the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. So that's a typical week for me.
Okay. So you made phenomenal progress in your training. Congratulations. Something you should definitely be proud of. You're officially a solidified, dunker for sure. Especially if you go to any pickup gym, you'll probably be one of the guys that, people don't expect to dunk, and then you're throwing down and you get a lot of crazy reactions, I'm sure. But
I would say most days that I have a jumping session, or a dunking session, people will ask me what I'm doing to improve my vertical jump, which is pretty cool. And thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it coming from One for All Fitness. That means a lot.
Yeah, you're definitely an inspiration to a lot of people, I'm sure, and especially including Troy and I. But what would you say is kind of your big, hairy audacious goal, your BHAG, that when you hang up the basketball shoes, all said and done, it's something that you'll look back on and be proud of. And I'm glad I did years of training so I could hit this one, whether it's a dunk or a certain amount of vertical. Like, what would make you truly satisfied? Because if you notice at dunk camp, dunkers are some of the most dissatisfied people you'll ever meet. They think
it's crazy.
They think that they're pieces of shit, even though they're elite level athletes. So I'm just curious if there's a threshold that once you hit it, you'll be like content. Just like at Thanos at the end of Infinity War, you just sit in your garden and
smile. Well, before I get into that, can you guys clarify what you guys were for Halloween? Because there were a lot of people thinking you were Captain America, and I just want to get into what the true story is here.
I was Spider-Man, and Troy was All Might from My Hero Academia, which is an anime. But everyone mistook me for Captain America, so I just rolled with it so I wouldn't have to explain it over and over again.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you make out with any women that night who thought you were Captain America? Just out of curiosity.
Not at liberty to say.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say there are like a couple goals. If I hit any one of these, I'd be really happy. I want to hit above a 43 or above at the next dunk camp. That's what I'm really training for. Okay. That would be huge for me. If you guys saw at dunk camp last year when I did the dunk contest, I had a hurt foot, but I still attempted a front flip dunk, which at the time had never been done before. And still the front flip alley-oop hasn't been done before. And I've begged Chris Spell not to hit that one so I could be the first, but we'll see.
Does he do front flips, or I thought he only did back flips?
He primarily does backflips, and I swear I asked him about it at dunk camp, and he said he didn't really do front flips, but he has hit a front flip dunk that went pretty viral. But it was like a standing off vert one, basically, of course. So, and it was just himself. He had the ball the whole time.
Well, he did like a front flip into a dunk.
He was standing, did a front flip, and like he basically remained in the same spot and then jumped straight up and dunked, and it went pretty viral.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So mine, I would like to front flip, land without the ball, have someone throw like a little alley-oop, and I smack it down.
Well, I remember you did it on a mat.
I did it on a mat, and the mat unfortunately took away some of my bounce, but I still got above the rim. But I only got one attempt where I got a good jump after I landed that front flip, and CJ just threw that ball way too high. Shout out to my guy, CJ.
I think you should try without the mat, because you got to get as much height as you can, right?
I will, and I would have, but I hurt my foot doing the front flip just before on hardwood. I was doing it like the week or two before dunk camp, and I landed on my heel, and that hurt. And so that I wasn't able to jump quite as high as I could have at the last dunk camp, but I still did pretty good for all things considered. And then I want to hit between the legs. I think that's one of the coolest dunks in the world. So I really want to hit that. I'm close to doing it out the hand on a hoop that's like, an inch or two low from regulation, but I think I'll get that soon.
I think maybe in the next year or so we'll see that pop up on your Instagram. So that'll
absolutely
be exciting.
I hit it on 9.6 just like a month ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So keep climbing. Would you say that you have like a dunking rival who you would love to posterize?
Dude, I'd love to posterize Cole, honestly. Shout out to Cole. But yeah, I think it was after his podcast with you guys. You know, he's got a little competitiveness to him.
Oh, he definitely does.
I'd love to just, I'd love to dunk on Cole's ass. I've told him that before a couple of times.
Well, he's shorter than you, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
But his bounce doesn't, his bounce is insane. Like it's amazing. Yeah.
You
And
know,
I think he was hurt at dunk camp too.
Yeah, he had his some knee issues at dunk camp when we saw him, but he still jumped on the last day. He still had some pop. I think he's at about 43 inches right now. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
okay.
he's kind of got back to top form. Well, speaking of injuries though, so a lot of times with jump training and manufacturing a high vertical comes your body rejecting that idea and giving you some pain signals. Where do you find pain, you know, and do you experience it much, first of all? And second of all, for those areas you do, what are your kind of tips or tricks to get out of those pains?
Yeah, so I pretty much, beyond like landing on my ankle funny from trying to front flip,
Yeah.
I run into jumper's knee a lot. That said, I have a pretty good protocol and it like usually stays below a 1 out of 10 pain. I'm pretty happy with my management of jumper's knee. And what I do for that is isometrics. And then I also do slow heavy lifts, and then also do some like light plyometrics to kind of help it like get used to being springy.
Can you give some examples of what those isometrics are and what kind of how long it holds?
Yeah, I mean, I do like wall sit variations. I do leg extensions on a machine, but just with one leg and just kind of hold it out. A couple different isometrics like that. Okay.
And do you ever do sled?
Yeah, I do. Actually, shout out to the sled, because I was listening to Ben Patrick, and he was saying, oh yeah, it gets blood flow to like areas like your foot and stuff that normally doesn't get a ton of blood flow. And that really helped me. I think like moving my feet doing the sled really helped me with my injury after the front flip, because that thing was just sticking around for like 2 months. Like not super painful, but you know, enough to make me not jump as high as I can.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we got a lot of good info here. Appreciate you hopping online with us on a Sunday morning. Do you have anything you want to shout out? You already mentioned your Instagram at Alex Ardizzone, but any ideas you want to promote or people or
so yeah, that's Ardizzone, Ardizzone on Instagram as well as YouTube. And then I want to shout out the Show Up. They sponsored me last year for dunk camp, gave me some product, gave me a bag, and so those are my guys. And I would say I'm the jump guy for that fitness group, which is cool. They're based out of Seattle. They've got a gym in West Seattle that they work out of. So awesome group. And I wanted to shout out you guys too, because you know I get a ton of stuff from your guys' page. And so yeah, thanks for all the stuff you put out.
No problem. Appreciate that, man. And yeah, we're glad that we can have a good open exchange a lot, and we've been meeting up and hope to continue doing that. So appreciate you hopping on. Finally got the podcast in, and we'll have you on again sometime when you're jumping 43 inches.
Hell yeah. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you later.
See ya.